Welcome to the Jaguar Podcast, a show where we discuss all things related to Duval County's finest NFL football team, the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Move 42, set, what?
Duval, baby! Hey everybody, this is Andrew and welcome to episode 55 of the Jaguar Podcast. In this episode, I'm going to be talking about the recent decision of Jaguars owner Shad Khan to keep head coach Doug Marrone and general manager Dave Caldwell for season 2020. So let's jump into it. I don't know how I really feel about this. I'm a little iffy. I mean, I think head coach Doug Marrone should be here. I think Doug has kind of weathered through the storm. There's been, lots of drama in the Jaguars organization. And, especially with the Jalen Ramsey situation and trading him, and then Tom Coughlin kind of breathing down his neck, making him, go out there and give those, pressers that were kind of awkward. Really, it should have been Tom Coughlin and Dave Caldwell out there, but they kind of fed him to the wolves. So, I feel for Doug Marrone. I think he's, had to deal with a lot. So, the players respect him. I mean, there's been a lot of players that have come out and said that, Doug has done a great job with the players, including, Leonard Fournette, I'm willing to give Doug another shot, hopefully bring us back to that 2017 season where he made the playoffs. But I'll read the statement from owner Shad Khan that was made on December 31st. While our discussions will remain confidential, the decision I am making to keep our staff intact for 2020 has nothing to do with our victory on Sunday against the Colts, is what he's referring to, and everything to do with my positive meetings with Dave, Doug, the coordinators, and our players, as well as my belief that this is not the time to consider an overhaul of the organization. So there it is, right, from Shad Khan. I like I said, I kind of somewhat agree with that statement. I don't think Dave Caldwell, GM Dave Caldwell, should be here. I think he's made a couple of, poor decisions, with our draft and kind of with the deals that we've made with some of our players. One comes to mind is Blake Bortles. I don't think that was a great draft pick. I don't think the decision to extend him was a good one, and has led us to kind of a lot of issues. Cause some of his other picks, I think Dante Fowler Jr., probably not a good fit for our organization, kind of judging his character and some drama, legal troubles that he's had. Jalen Ramsey is kind of one I'm a little iffy on in terms of draft pick. I'm kind of 50-50 on, cause I think Jalen as a player, his character is a little questionable, but I think he's a phenomenal athlete. So, I'm a little iffy on him. Dave did pass up on, the Ravens quarterback, Lamar Jackson. He did kind of pass over him. I think that was kind of a blunder, a bad move, so to say. And,
Idiot.
I think we need to be on the market for another general manager next season if things go bad. I don't think the Nick Foles contract was negotiated very well. I think Dave played a part in that with Tom Coughlin, and the decision to extend linebacker Miles Jack, I think that was a huge mistake. And if we should have been extending anybody, it should have been Yannick Ngakoue because he deserves the money. But looking at going back to Doug Marrone again, his record is I'm going to play a little bit of devil's advocate here. Doesn't have a very good record. I think he was 37-45 with his coaching career with the Jaguars. The Jaguars were terrible on penalties this year. I mean, I think they were one of the top teams for penalties. I mean, this season, I don't think there's a lot of discipline in the Jaguars organization. I think that reflects poorly on Doug Marrone, right? Like, I mean, when you look back to the 2018 season, we had players at the Wembley game against the Eagles get arrested the night before the game. And that was just terrible. You can't have that. And then the penalties this season, just not a disciplined team. The whole Jalen Ramsey situation with him yelling at the coaches, or Doug Marrone specifically, I think that shows lack of discipline and respect to the coaching staff. So, I think Doug has to make a lot of improvements in terms of getting this team to be disciplined, less penalties, and just like an overall better culture. I think, Doug overall has done a good job of kind of weathering through the storm, but a lot more to improve on. I think we need to make some decisions with the, assistant coaches and coordinators. I think Todd Wash, he needs to go. We need to find a better defensive coordinator. Maybe some changes on the defensive line, coaches and linebacker coaches. We need to look for some better linebackers, and hopefully we get a good draft. I'm hoping Dave Caldwell has kind of a wake-up call here, and we have a good draft, and we draft some good players at some positions like cornerback, I feel like, and linebacker and defensive tackle. And I think hopefully it'll be a better culture with, Executive Vice President Tom Coughlin out of there and people not getting fined left and right. But, let me know how you feel about, head coach Doug Marrone and general manager Dave Caldwell returning. Leave a comment on the podcast episode or YouTube video. Give me a like if you enjoyed this episode, on the YouTube channel. Subscribe to the channel if you enjoyed these videos. Leave me some comments on Apple Podcasts. That always helps me when I put these episodes together. Go Jags, and I'll see you next time.
Let me get that. JYD coming up with the big sack. Quarterbacks beware, we on the prowl. Game day night, you could hear it in our growl. Intimidation on to keep their hearts racing. Eating other teams live on TV front of the nation. Spectacular defensive scheme.
This episode is available on the Jaguar Podcast YouTube channel. So if you stop by, make sure to subscribe and give this video a like. Also, these episodes are available on iTunes, Podbean, Spotify, SoundCloud, Stitcher, and other major podcast distributors as well. So if you don't mind, please leave me a review and some feedback. I'd really appreciate that. If you'd like to connect with me on social media, my Twitter handle is @JagWarPodcast. I'm also on Facebook and Instagram. This is Andrew signing off. Cheers.